The 10 mental traps keeping you stuck. Hello and welcome to MT. Do you ever feel like you're stuck? Like you're walking on a treadmill? You're putting in the effort, you're moving your legs, you're sweating, but you're not actually going anywhere. You look around and see other people moving forward, reaching their destinations, and you're still in the same spot. It's a frustrating feeling, one that can make you want to just give up and get off the treadmill altogether. But what if I told you that the treadmill isn't real? What if the thing that's holding you in place isn't some invisible force or bad luck, but something inside your own mind? Today, we're going to talk about the invisible walls we build around ourselves. We're going to talk about the 10 mental traps that keep us stuck, and more importantly, how to break free from them. These are the sneaky thoughts, the quiet whispers in the back of our head that hold us back from the success, happiness, and life we truly want. But before we dive in, I have a quick question for you. What is one small thing you told yourself you couldn't do, but then you did it anyway? It could be as simple as cooking a new recipe you thought was too complicated, or finally cleaning out that messy closet, or even just talking to a new person at a party. Think about it for a second and drop your answer in the comments below. I'd love to read about your small victories. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about the first and possibly the most common mental trap of all. 1. The I'm not good enough trap. This one is a classic. It's the little voice in your head that pops up whenever you're about to try something new, take on a challenge, or accept a compliment. You get an opportunity for a promotion at work, and the voice says, they're going to find out you're a fraud. You want to start a new hobby, maybe painting or playing the guitar, and the voice whispers, you don't have any talent for that, you'll just embarrass yourself. This trap is built on the feeling of being an imposter. It's the belief that everyone else has it all figured out, and you're just faking it, waiting for the moment when you'll be exposed as not smart enough, not talented enough, not skilled enough, not enough. Where does this come from? Often, it starts when we're young. Maybe a teacher made a careless comment, or we compared ourselves to a sibling who seemed to do everything perfectly. In today's world, it's 1,000 times worse because of social media. We scroll through feeds filled with people showing off their perfect lives, their amazing accomplishments, and their flawless bodies. We are comparing our behind the scenes, our messy reality, to their highlight reel. It's a game you can never win. The truth is, good enough is not a real thing. It's not a finish line you cross. Who decides when you are good enough? There's no universal judge. It's a made-up standard in your head, and you keep moving the goalposts further away every time you get close. Even the most successful people in the world have admitted to feeling this way. It's a human feeling, but it becomes a trap when you let that feeling dictate your actions. So, how do you escape this trap? The first step is to become a detective. Your feelings are not facts. The feeling of not being good enough is just a feeling. A detective looks for evidence. I want you to start collecting evidence of your competence. Get a simple notebook or a jar. Every single day, I want you to write down one thing you did well. It doesn't have to be a huge accomplishment. Maybe you made a really good cup of coffee. Maybe you made a coworker laugh. Maybe you solved a small problem at work. Maybe you just got out of bed when you didn't want to. Write it down. Put it in the jar or the notebook. When that voice starts whispering that you're not good enough, you open that book or pull out a few slips from that jar and you read the cold, hard facts. The facts will show you that your feelings are lying. The second step is to focus on action, not on the feeling. The feeling of being an imposter is strongest right before you start something. The trick is to just start, even in the smallest way possible. Use the 5-minute rule. Tell yourself, you're only going to work on that scary project for 5 minutes. Or you're only going to practice that guitar for 5 minutes. Anyone can do something for 5 minutes. What you'll find is that once you start, the action itself builds momentum. The feeling of not being good enough can't survive when you're actually doing the thing. Action is the cure. You don't need to feel confident to start. You need to start to feel confident. 2. The it's too late trap. This trap is the cousin of the I'm not good enough trap. It's the belief that you've missed your chance. Your ship has sailed. The voice sounds a little different. It says things like, you're too old to start a new career, or if you were going to be successful, it would have happened by now, or All the good opportunities are gone. It makes you feel like life is a race, and you're so far behind that there's no point in even trying to run anymore. You look at young people starting businesses or achieving things, and you think, that's for them, not for me. My time has passed. This is a powerful trap because it seems so logical. We see time as a straight line, and we think we've used up too much of it. But this is a complete misunderstanding of how life and success actually work. Life is not a single race. It's a series of different events, different seasons. Believing it's too late is like saying there's no point in planting a garden in the summer because you missed the spring. Summer has its own things that can grow. Your life has different seasons, and each season has its own unique opportunities. Think about some of the most famous examples. The founder of KFC, Colonel Sanders, didn't start franchising his chicken recipe until he was in his 60s. Vera Wang, the famous fashion designer, didn't design her first dress until she was 40. There are countless stories of people who found their greatest success and happiness later in life. They didn't see age as a barrier. They saw it as an advantage. They had more wisdom, more experience, and a better understanding of who they were. Your past experiences aren't a weight holding you down. They are the foundation you can build upon. How do you break free from the "it's too late" trap? First, you need to stop measuring your progress against other people's. Your journey is your journey. It has its own timeline. Delete or mute the social media accounts that make you feel behind in life. Instead, start following people who started later in life and are now thriving. Surround yourself with examples that prove your belief is wrong. Your brain looks for evidence to confirm what it already believes, so you need to consciously feed it new evidence that it's never too late. Second, break down your big goal into a ridiculously small first step. The idea of starting a new career at 45 is terrifying. But what about spending 15 minutes researching online courses about a topic I find interesting? That's not scary at all. You're not committing to a whole new life. You're just getting curious for 15 minutes. The goal isn't to achieve everything tomorrow. The goal is to prove to yourself that you can still start. Take that tiny step, then take another. These small steps build up over time, and one day you'll look back and realize you're not at the starting line anymore. You're well on your way, no matter when you started. 3. The "I need to be perfect" trap. Perfectionism. This one sounds like a good thing, doesn't it? People even say it in job interviews as a fake weakness. What's your biggest weakness? Well, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. But in reality, perfectionism is not about being excellent. It's about being afraid. It's a trap that keeps you from starting things and from finishing things. The voice of perfectionism says, don't release that video until it's perfect. Don't apply for that job until your resume is perfect. Don't start that diet until the perfect Monday comes along. The problem is, perfect doesn't exist. It's a fantasy. Because you can never reach this impossible standard, you end up doing nothing at all. You spend weeks planning and researching, but you never actually do the thing, or you start something, but you get 80% of the way done and then you abandon it because that last 20% isn't perfect enough. So, your life becomes a graveyard of almost finished projects and brilliant ideas that never saw the light of day. This isn't a quest for quality, it's a form of self-sabotage driven by the fear of being judged or criticized. If you never finish it, no one can say it's bad. Perfectionism chains you to the idea that one mistake, one flaw, will lead to total disaster. This is called black and white thinking. Either your project is a flawless masterpiece, or it is a complete and utter failure. There is no in between, but life is all in between. Life is messy and imperfect. Growth happens in the messy middle, not in the imaginary land of perfection. To escape this trap, you need to embrace the idea of good enough. This isn't about being lazy or producing sloppy work. It's about understanding that done is better than perfect. A finished project that is 80% good is infinitely better than an unfinished project that you dreamed would be 100% perfect. You need to give yourself permission to be a beginner. You have to allow yourself to create things that are just okay. Your first video will not be perfect. Your first painting will not be a masterpiece. Your first attempt at anything will be flawed. And that is not only okay, it is necessary. That's how you learn. A practical way to fight this is to set deadlines and stick to them, no matter what. Deadlines force you to make decisions and move forward. Another powerful tool is to aim for a B- on your first try. Give yourself the explicit goal of not making it perfect. Just get it done to a satisfactory level. This lowers the pressure immensely and allows you to actually complete the task. You can always go back and improve it later. Version 1 is better than version none. Remember, the goal is progress, not perfection. 4. The failure is the end trap. This trap is the bodyguard of the perfectionism trap. It's the deep-seated fear that if you try something and it doesn't work out, it will be a catastrophe. It will mean that you, as a person, are a failure. This belief paralyzes us. We stick to our safe, comfortable routines because the thought of failing is just too painful to bear. We don't ask for a raise because what if our boss says no? We don't ask that person out on a date because what if they reject us? We don't start that business because what if it goes bankrupt? In our minds, failure is this big, scary monster that will eat us alive. We see it as a final judgment on our worth and our abilities. But this is a complete lie. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success. Every single successful person you can think of has a long list of failures behind them. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. J.K. Rowling had her Harry Potter book rejected by 12 publishers. They didn't succeed in spite of their failures. They succeeded because of them. Failure is not a person. It is an event. And like any event, it provides data. It gives you information. When you fail, you learn what doesn't work. You learn where you need to improve. It's a lesson, not a life sentence. A baby learning to walk falls down hundreds of times. Do we look at the baby and say, "What a failure, just give up on walking"? Of course not. We understand that falling is how the baby learns to balance and get stronger. We need to start treating ourselves with the same understanding. So, how do we escape the fear of failure? The first step is to redefine it. Stop seeing failure as a verdict on you and start seeing it as a simple outcome of an experiment. You are a scientist in the laboratory of your life. You have a hypothesis. I think if I do this, that will happen. Sometimes you're right, and sometimes you're wrong. If you're wrong, you don't throw yourself in the trash. You look at the data, you adjust your hypothesis, and you run a new experiment. This mindset shift is huge. It takes the personal shame out of it and turns it into a process of discovery. The second step is to practice failing in small, low-stakes ways. This is like building up your immunity. If you're afraid of rejection, make it a goal to get rejected once a day for something small. Ask for a 10% discount on your coffee. Ask a stranger for directions to a place you already know how to get to. Most of the time, people will just say no, and you will realize something amazing. You survived. The world didn't end. This practice, called rejection therapy, teaches your brain that the outcome you fear is not nearly as bad as you imagine it to be. It builds your resilience muscle, so when you face a bigger potential failure, it doesn't seem so terrifying anymore. 5. The I must have everyone's approval trap. This is the people pleaser's prison. It's the belief that your self-worth is determined by what other people think of you. You need your parents, your friends, your boss, and even strangers on the internet to like you, approve of your choices, and validate your existence. As a result, you become a chameleon. You change your opinions, your hobbies, and even your personality to fit in with whatever group you're with. You say yes when you desperately want to say no. You stay quiet when you have something important to say because you're afraid of rocking the boat. This trap is exhausting. It's impossible to make everyone happy. If you try, the only person you are guaranteed to make unhappy is yourself. You live in a constant state of anxiety, trying to read people's minds and anticipate their needs. Your own goals, dreams, and desires get pushed to the back burner, and eventually, you forget they even exist. You lose your sense of self. You become a collection of other people's expectations. This belief often stems from a deep fear of rejection or abandonment. We think that if someone disapproves of us, it means we are fundamentally unlovable. But the truth is, other people's opinions of you are not about you at all. They are about them. Their opinions are a reflection of their own life experiences, their own values, their own insecurities, and their own mood on that particular day. Trying to control their opinion of you is like trying to control the weather. It's a fool's errand. You could be the most delicious, perfect peach in the world, and there will still be someone who just doesn't like peaches. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the peach. Escaping this trap requires bravery. It requires you to start prioritizing your own approval over the approval of others. The first step is to practice setting small boundaries. You don't have to start with a big, dramatic confrontation. Start small. The next time someone asks you to do something you don't want to do, instead of an automatic yes, say, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you." This gives you a moment to breathe and decide if you truly want to do it. Then, you can practice saying a gentle no. Something like, "I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it this time, but thanks for thinking of me." You don't need to give a long, elaborate excuse. No is a complete sentence. The second step is to reconnect with your own values and desires. Spend some time alone and ask yourself, what do I actually want? What is important to me, regardless of what anyone else thinks? Start making one small decision every day that is based purely on your own preference. Wear that weird shirt you love. Listen to that music your friends make fun of. Order the pineapple on your pizza. These small acts of self-approval rebuild the connection to your true self. You'll start to realize that your own validation is the only one that truly matters. 6. The "I am my thoughts" trap. This trap is a little more subtle than the others. It's the belief that the thoughts that pop into your head are true and that they define who you are. If you have a negative thought, like "I'm such a loser," you believe it. You don't see it as a random thought, you see it as a fundamental fact about yourself. If you have an anxious thought, like "something terrible is going to happen," you believe you are in real danger. You become fused with your thoughts. You can't see the difference between the thought and the reality. Our brains are thought-generating machines. They produce thousands of thoughts every single day. Most of them are random, repetitive, and nonsensical. Some are positive, some are negative, and many are just neutral. Your brain is just doing its job, trying to make sense of the world and keep you safe. Believing every thought it produces is like believing every piece of spam email that lands in your inbox. It's just noise. When you're stuck in this trap, you live at the mercy of your mind's random chatter. If you wake up and your brain gives you a series of negative thoughts, you believe you're going to have a bad day. If your brain brings up an embarrassing memory from 10 years ago, you feel the shame all over again as if it just happened. You are not in the driver's seat of your life. Your random thoughts are. The key to escaping this trap is to realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who notices your thoughts. Think of it this way. Your mind is like the sky. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions are like the weather. Sometimes the weather is sunny and clear, sometimes it's cloudy, stormy, and dark. But you are not the weather. You are the sky. The weather passes through, but the sky remains. The storm might be intense, but it will eventually pass. The sky is always there, vast and untouched. A simple practice to build this skill is called mindfulness. It's not about stopping your thoughts, it's about changing your relationship with them. You can start by simply labeling your thoughts. When a worried thought comes up, instead of getting caught in it, you can say to yourself, "Ah, that's a worry thought." When a self-critical thought appears, you can say, "There's that inner critic again." This simple act of labeling creates a little bit of space between you and the thought. You're not arguing with it or believing it, you're just observing it, like you're watching a cloud drift across the sky. Another technique is to give your negative thought patterns a silly name. You could call your inner critic Grumpy Gus. So when the thought "you're going to fail" comes up, you can say, "Oh, Grumpy Gus is back. Thanks for the input, Gus, but I've got this." This makes the thought less powerful and less serious. You begin to see that thoughts are just mental events, not absolute truths. You have the power to choose which thoughts you pay attention to and which ones you let just float on by. 7. The "I don't have enough" trap. This is the trap of scarcity. It's the belief that there isn't enough to go around. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough opportunities, not enough luck. When you're in this trap, your whole world feels small and limited. You hold on tightly to what you have because you're terrified of losing it. You're afraid to spend money on things that could help you grow because what if I need it later? You're afraid to take a day off because you feel you don't have enough time. You see other people's success not as an inspiration, but as a sign that they took a piece of the pie that should have been yours. This mindset keeps you playing defense instead of offense. You're so focused on not losing that you never give yourself a chance to win. You make decisions based on fear and lack, rather than on opportunity and abundance. This belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because you believe there aren't enough opportunities, you don't look for them. And because you don't look for them, you don't find them, which then proves to you that you were right all along. The truth is, for most things that matter, we live in a world of abundance. There is an abundance of knowledge on the internet. There is an abundance of new people to meet. There is an abundance of creative ideas waiting to be discovered. The pie is not a fixed size. When someone else succeeds, it doesn't take away from your potential success. In many cases, it actually creates more opportunities for everyone. To escape the scarcity trap, you need to start training your brain to see the abundance that is already around you. A powerful way to do this is to practice gratitude. Every day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. It sounds simple, but it works. This practice forces your brain to scan your world for positives, for what you have, rather than what you lack. You might be grateful for the sun shining, for a hot cup of tea, or for a friend who sent you a funny text. When you consistently focus on what you have, your feeling of not enough starts to shrink. The second step is to practice giving. This seems counterintuitive. If you feel you don't have enough, why would you give anything away? But it doesn't have to be money. You can give your time, your knowledge, or your attention. Help a friend with a problem. Share a useful article with a coworker. Give a genuine compliment to a stranger. When you give freely, you send a powerful message to your own brain. I have more than enough to share. This act of generosity breaks the scarcity mindset and aligns you with the flow of abundance. You start to see that the more you give, the more you seem to have. 8. The world is unfair and against me trap. This is the victim trap. It's the belief that you are powerless and that life is something that happens to you, not something you create. When you're in this trap, you're always looking for someone or something to blame for your problems. It's the government's fault, it's my boss's fault, it's my parents' fault. It's because of where I was born. It's because I'm just unlucky. While it's true that the world is not always fair and that bad things happen to good people, this mindset takes that truth and uses it as a permanent excuse to not take responsibility for your own life. The problem with this trap is that it strips you of all your power. If everything is someone else's fault, then you have no ability to change your situation. You are a helpless passenger in a car being driven by someone else. You just have to sit there and complain about the ride. This can feel comforting for a short time, as it absolves you of any responsibility. But in the long run, it leads to a life of resentment, bitterness, and stagnation. Successful and happy people don't necessarily have easier lives. Many of them have faced incredible hardship and injustice. The difference is their mindset. They focus on the things they can control, not the things they can't. They take ownership of their responses, their choices, and their actions. They see challenges not as proof that the world is against them, but as obstacles to be overcome. The way out of the victim trap is to take radical responsibility for your life. This doesn't mean blaming yourself for things that were genuinely not your fault. It means taking ownership of your future, starting from right now. The first step is to stop complaining. For one full day, make a pact with yourself that you will not complain about anything, out loud or in your head. When you catch yourself about to complain, stop and reframe the thought. Instead of, my boss gave me this stupid project, try, this project is a challenge. What is one small step I can take to get it started? This simple shift moves you from a passive victim to an active problem solver. The second step is to focus on your circle of control. Draw a big circle on a piece of paper. Inside the circle, write down all the things you have direct control over. Your attitude, your effort, what you eat, how you spend your free time, who you are kind to. Outside the circle, write down the things you cannot control. The weather, the economy, what other people think of you. Now, make a conscious decision to put 100% of your energy and focus only on the things inside the circle When you stop wasting energy on things you can't change, you'll be amazed at how much power you have to change the things you can. 9. The I need to do it all myself trap. This trap is for the lone wolf, the rugged individualist. It's the belief that asking for help is a sign of weakness. You think you have to figure everything out on your own, carry all your burdens alone, and achieve success without any support? The voice in your head says, if I ask for help, people will think I'm incompetent, or I don't want to be a bother to anyone. So you struggle in silence, trying to reinvent the wheel when there are people all around you who would be happy to give you a map. This belief is a recipe for burnout. No one achieves anything great entirely on their own. Every successful person has had mentors, teachers, supporters, and friends who help them along the way. Trying to do it all yourself is not a sign of strength, it's a sign of ego. It slows you down, limits your potential, and isolates you from the very people who could help you the most. We are social creatures. We are meant to collaborate and support one another. Think about it this way. If your friend came to you with a problem that you knew how to solve, would you be annoyed? Or would you be happy to help them? Most of us feel good when we can help someone. It makes us feel valued and useful. By not asking for help, you are robbing other people of the opportunity to feel that way. You are also robbing yourself of their wisdom, experience, and perspective. Escaping this trap requires humility and a shift in perspective. You need to start seeing asking for help as a sign of strength, not weakness. It shows that you are smart enough to know that you don't know everything. It shows that you are confident enough to be vulnerable. The first step is to start small. Identify one tiny thing you are struggling with. It could be a technical problem on your computer or trying to figure out a recipe. Then, find one person you trust and ask for their help. Phrase it simply, "Hey, I'm a bit stuck on this. You're really good at this stuff. Would you mind taking a quick look?" Notice how it feels. Notice that the world doesn't end. The person is probably happy to help. The second step is to proactively build a support network. You don't have to wait until you're drowning to ask for a life raft. Connect with people in your field. Find a mentor. Form a small group with friends where you can talk openly about your goals and challenges. When you have a network in place, asking for help becomes a natural part of the process, not a last-ditch cry for help. Remember, your journey will be faster, easier, and a lot more fun when you have other people rowing the boat with you. 10. The "I'll be happy when" trap. This is the final and perhaps the most insidious trap. It's the belief that happiness is a destination you will arrive at in the future once you achieve a certain goal. I'll be happy when I get that promotion. I'll be happy when I lose 20 pounds. I'll be happy when I buy that house. I'll be happy when I'm in a relationship. We postpone our happiness, holding it hostage until we achieve some external condition. The problem is, this is a lie. When you finally get that promotion, you might feel a temporary rush of excitement, but it fades quickly. And then your brain just sets a new goalpost. Okay, now I'll be happy when I become a director. You are forever chasing a horizon that moves further away the closer you get. This is something scientists call the hedonic treadmill. We work hard to get something, we get it, we adapt to it, and then our level of happiness returns to where it was before, and we start chasing the next thing. It's a never-ending cycle of dissatisfaction. This trap robs you of your present moment. Your entire life becomes a waiting room. You're not living, you're just waiting to live. You miss out on the small joys, the simple pleasures, and the beauty of the journey because you are so focused on a destination that may never make you as happy as you think it will. The escape from this trap is to stop deferring your happiness and start practicing it in the here and now. Happiness is not a result. It is a skill. It's a practice. The first step is to anchor yourself in the present moment. Throughout your day, take a few moments to just pause and notice what's happening right now. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. Savor the taste of your morning coffee. Listen to the sound of the birds outside your window. These moments of presence are where true contentment is found. You realize that you don't need anything to change in order to feel a sense of peace. The second step is to find joy in the process, not just the outcome. Whatever your goal is, find a way to enjoy the journey of getting there. If your goal is to lose weight, don't just focus on the number on the scale. Find a form of exercise that you actually enjoy. Learn to cook healthy meals that taste amazing. Celebrate the feeling of having more energy. When you fall in love with the process, the outcome becomes a bonus, not the sole source of your happiness. You realize that a good life is not about reaching a single perfect moment in the future. It's about stringing together a series of good moments right here, right now. So those are the 10 traps. The I'm not good enough trap, the it's too late trap, the I need to be perfect trap, the failure is the end trap, the I must have everyone's approval trap, the I am my thoughts trap, the I don't have enough trap, the world is against me trap, the I need to do it all myself trap, and the I'll be happy when trap. These are just stories we tell ourselves. They are invisible cages built from nothing more than thoughts. But because they are made of thoughts, you have the power to dismantle them. Thought by thought, action by action. If this video helped you recognize even one of these traps in your own mind, then my job here is done. And if you'd like more simple, practical guides to improving your life and mindset, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. We're building a community here at MT focused on real change. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.